Hi.
I was going to do a countdown.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, 3, 2, 1.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm doing good.
Good.
Welcome, everyone, to FreezeCast, the official podcast of the Freeze Frame channel. My name's Jared, and with me...
Paul. Okay, and with me is Paul. Yay.
This is clearly well planned.
Right? We're scripted.
We're scripted.
We do have ideas. We do know what we're talking about, but
no,
we don't follow a script, per se.
We go off the top of our head. We're fast on our feet. We're quick on our toes.
And that's why we're sitting down.
We're two guys that love movies and talking about them. And that's why we do this.
That is why we do this.
That's why we're here today.
We act in movies. We direct movies. We play with movies.
What?
Pick them apart.
We do? Oh, yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I thought you meant, it's like play with movies. What are you talking about? It's like we just take the discs and throw them around.
No, that's not what I mean.
Crash them into walls.
We're not playing Frisbees with DVDs. That's not how it goes. It's like, yes, you can get sharp picture quality, but it will not help your Frisbee game at all.
Or will it?
I doubt it.
All right. So we have a couple topics that we're talking about today. The first one, there's been a bunch of trailers that have just come out, and I'd like to get your thoughts on some of these movies.
Okay, here we go.
First one is Lego Movie 2, the second part. I'm very excited.
I'm excited for this one as well. The first one was really good, and from what I've seen in the trailer, it's taking a completely different route. Now, I've heard a fan theory from my son. This seems interesting because if you take a close look at the trailer, we can't really spoil it because it's a trailer.
It's a trailer, yeah.
So it's all speculation at this point. If you look at the trailer, the alien thing that comes in, I like the post-dystopian look of the whole thing.
Yeah, it's kind of hilarious because it has this Mad Max vibe to it.
Yeah, and that looks really cool. And then, of course, there's Emmett being Emmett.
Yeah.
But then the alien shows up, and the alien is...
the Duplo bricks.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
it's end of the first one.
At the end of the first one. It doesn't look like it's going to pick that up. It might.
Yeah.
It may. Maybe that's why the dystopia happens, is because Duplo took over. But there's another alien that shows up and is seeking for the leader who vanquished everybody and then takes Wildstyle and a few other people with him. And that character seems to be more along the lines of the Lego Girls
theme.
Yeah,
like the Disney princesses and stuff.
So here's the theory. Here's the theory. At the end of the first movie, there was the little girl who had the Duplo who's like, I get to play now. And her dad, played by Will Ferrell, was like, yeah, you get to come and play. It's only fair.
Yeah.
So maybe this is the same kid, and she's grown up a little more, and now she's playing with the Lego Girls set. Mm-hmm. And so the Duplo has gone away because she's outgrown it.
So it's got to take place like a few years later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, again, speculation, all fan theory,
that could work.
Film fiction, whatever you want to call that.
Film fiction?
Fan fiction, film theory.
I guess, I don't know.
All those things.
All the fun.
But the trailer itself looks really good.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. The jokes are really well done.
And they did bring back the same cast. So we've got Will Arnett, Chris Pratt, Elizabeth Banks, a few other people. Sorry, I know I'm supposed to remember everybody.
Charlie Day as Benny.
Nick
Offerton.
Offerton, yeah. And
a couple new people
Brie.
as well.
Allison Brie. Yeah, I'm like, what's her name? Yeah, Brie's her last name, Allison Brie. So they're bringing back the same cast, which is nice.
Different director this time. So, but it's weird because his other directing movies... The other movies he's directed have not been that great.
That's a nice way of saying we're not sure what to expect.
He did the third Alvin and the Chipmunks. He did some other things. I'll look up the trailer because in the description of the trailer it has some of his movies.
Okay, so what he's done is a lot of children's movies. He's not necessarily an action type guy, but he does make a lot of children's favorites.
That's a way of putting it.
Well, yeah, which is not my style of directing, but that doesn't mean he did a bad job.
Yeah.
He's tailoring it to the audience, and that's what you do with Lego. I mean, there's a certain age group there, even though I enjoyed the first one, and all my kids did. And I enjoyed Lego Batman as well. That was awesome.
Lego Batman was really good. Ninjago was fine to good.
No, I like the Ninjago movie.
Yeah.
It was better than I anticipated because I've watched some of the series, and the series is good. The movie was better.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah, he did Trolls, Sky High for Disney.
Wow.
And the 4th Shrek movie.
Ooh. Okay.
So yeah, his track record is
iffy.
But
iffy. I mean, those are good titles. They did well at the box office, but again, it's for that audience.
Yeah. So. But I feel like he has a good script here, and that
it looks entertaining. It looks like it's going to be well put together, and obviously they've taken the same kind of budget they had on the first one and done this type of work. So it's going to be a good film from what I can see.
It has that same style and tone, and I'm hoping for the best here.
Yeah. I figure you can't go wrong with Lego. They've done a couple of ventures now, and even the stuff they do that's direct-to-TV or direct-to-video...
It's still fun.
It is. It's some good stuff. So I've got high hopes for this one.
Yeah. Next one is Bumblebee, the prequel to the Transformers films. Taking a different style to it from what I can tell.
I saw the trailer just yesterday for the first time, and I know it was just barely released. I like that he's a Volkswagen Bug.
Yeah, they brought it back to his original.
His original cartoon character from 1980-something or other.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is great. I mean, you don't look at him and think, oh, yeah, this guy's a Camaro now.
Yeah.
So he's really cool. It's like, no, he's a beat-up old Volkswagen Beetle, and that's what he should be. Because he's trying to blend in. He's not trying to stand out. And having a flashy car makes him stand out. So it's nice that they took it back to the roots. I'm not sure what the story's going to be. I'm not sure how that's going to play out, how he got to Earth or what he's doing here from the planet of
Flip.
The Autobots.
Yeah.
But it looks,
I can't remember.
Again, looks really well done. Great graphics, great animation, and all the video reality stuff.
The part I'm most excited for is that they have Starscream in it for a second, and he has his original colors, and I'm glad that they're bringing colors to the bad guys, because that's probably one of my nitpicks because the Transformers movies are not that good. But if I'm nitpicking stuff, all the bad guy Transformers are all either black or gray blobs, and it's impossible to tell what's happening with them.
True.
But they added the color back into Starscream with the red and the lighter gray, and I'm happy to see that.
Yeah. It looks like a fun live-action film. And like you said, with the other Transformers movies, they all follow the same plot. And so you can guess, in fact, we totally guessed the last one, of you got the hero who's fighting something, and then the robots come, and then
they have to get the artifact.
And
always boils down to get the artifact.
It's like whatever it is, there's some artifact. It's a different artifact every time, but it's always we have to fight for the artifact.
Yeah.
To win. And even the heroes change, but it's the same story
it's
every single time.
And then Optimus Prime has to give a speech.
Or he hashes, yeah. So I'm hoping that with Bumblebee, it's a different story because there will be a few Transformers in it, but it doesn't look like they're bringing in the whole crew.
Yeah.
And since he is the title character, it should be his story.
Yeah.
And that means, yes, he's going to fight with Starscream because we've seen Starscream in the trailer. But maybe that's it. Maybe that's...
Yeah.
He got knocked out of hyperspace and landed on Earth or something. Who knows?
It's also from a different director. It's not Michael Bay this time. It's someone else.
That means fewer explosions.
Possibly, yes. And I'm fine with that.
Michael Bay's a great action hero director. He really is. I like a lot of his movies. But, again, the formula, if you can do something a little different, let's do something different.
That one comes out in December of this year. Ralph Breaks the Internet.
Wreck-It Ralph is back. I liked Wreck-It Ralph. There's a lot of people who... He's kind of a mixed feeling on his character, but I liked the movie Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, the movie's fun. It has some good references in it. This trailer, though... I don't know.
Well, it's the second trailer. The first trailer looked more interesting to me.
Yeah, this one...
The second trailer is about the Disney princesses, and Disney has stamped itself all over this. And obviously, it's a Pixar film. So you've got to expect that. But they've gone blatantly all out and said, now that you're on the internet, you have access to every Disney princess, and they're all gathered together doing whatever.
And they go to the Disney website, and it's...
It's a big advertisement for come to Disneyland and hang out with a princess is what I got from most of that.
Uh-huh. And then they have briefly, like, some Star Wars characters show up. Iron Man's in the background. But it also had an Emoji Movie vibe when they first get there. Because, like, here's Amazon, here's Snapchat, here's... It's like, this feels a lot like someone watched Emoji Movie and said, let's do that with Ralph.
I can make it better.
No, not necessarily. Just, let's do that with Ralph.
Yeah. Okay, let's do that with Ralph. Like, Emoji Movie, let's make it better. That would have been good. Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this.
I'm not sure how to feel either, because I understand that corporate marketing and product placement in film is a big deal, and you make your money doing that as a production company, and you want to put those things in there, like Amazon, like Disney, of course.
Yeah.
So you can get a bigger budget to do your film and do it right. Hopefully they're doing it right, because all I saw was advertising.
Yeah.
And
I'm
like,
hoping...
Oh.
I'm hoping it's not like the plot revolves around getting to a certain website to get a certain thing, like the Emoji Movie, where it's like, oh, we have to cut through Dance Central to get to Dropbox because that's how you get to the cloud. And I was like, this is the stupidest thing ever.
And it's basically, here, buy this app, here, get this app free, download this app, get this app. And then you can be just like the emojis.
Which no one wants to be.
Which no one wants to be. And so, yeah, the opening scene is a huge tower for Google. And it's like, yes, well, everybody uses Google. Or almost everybody. It's like 70%. And then Amazon, and then everything else. And you're seeing all these things in the background and going, yes, this is a large part of what the internet is. But Ralph, come on, we don't have to focus on that.
Yeah.
Unless that's where the plot comes in, because we don't actually know the plot.
Not really.
It's called Ralph Breaks the Internet. And they actually joke about it with one of the other characters in the trailer, saying, why didn't you call it Ralph Wrecks the Internet? That would make more sense.
Yeah.
And it would. We don't know why they did that, but if Ralph goes in and destroys Google, that could be fun.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, bring in the Disney princesses to save it. I'm not sure how all that's going to tie in.
Yeah. I just have low expectations right now. I think I'm going to wait for their final trailer for that one and see if it gives more of a story or more faith in me. Because the other jokes in that trailer were fine. Like, the search bar joke seemed weird.
Yeah, they had some strange stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny when they had, I can't even remember who Ralph's little
partner
is.
Yeah.
But she is the princess from the, I can't even remember the name of the race.
Yeah, Sugar Rush.
The Sugar Rush race, yeah, that's the game. And so she gets in with these princesses and says, hey, I'm a princess too. And just them describing, oh, are you an emotional shut-in? Are you
have you been kidnapped or poisoned?
Yeah, and it's fun because they're making fun of themselves.
Yeah,
in a great way, and those were some good jokes to me. But then you've got them all used up at one time, so I don't know where they're going to go with it from there.
Yeah,
and if she'll partner up with one of the Disney princesses, that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So yeah, that one comes out in November.
Just in time for Thanksgiving.
How to Train Your Dragon 3.
I like the Train the Dragon series. I do. I was very surprised by the first one.
Those are surprisingly good.
Yeah. The first one was great, and I thought, well, this is going to be really strange, but I got into it.
And then the second one had a lot of emotional weight in it.
It did. I mean, he's tracking down his mom. He's losing all the dragons. The dragons are getting killed off and taken away and all kinds of things.
Yeah, it's like, okay.
And then his dad dies, right? Does he die at the end?
I don't know. I can't remember.
There's a big fight with the dad. I can't remember if he makes it through. I'm going to have to watch that one again. And you can comment and say, yes, he did. Get with the program. Come on.
But this one, this is a teaser trailer, but I don't know yet about it.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. Again, they've kept the same style. They kept the same voice actors. The consistency is there. The quality of the project is there. The filming is going to be great. The animation is going to be incredible. Where the story goes, that remains to be seen.
Yeah, I'm not sure yet for that one.
Yeah. So that's up and coming. When's that one coming out?
I'm not sure. I think it's next year.
Okay, so we've got a lot to look forward to. We'll probably be seeing more teaser trailers when we go see Wreck-It Ralph and Bumblebee.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. And then the last one I want to talk about, Into the Spider-Verse, the animated Spider-Man movie.
Okay, I've only seen the one trailer for that, and that's the one that played at the movies when I was at a movie theater.
Oh, really? You haven't seen the new one?
I have not seen it. I've not been on YouTube
with the
to
cop
look at it.
and no.
I just know there's like 4 or 5 people in Spider-Man outfits running around New York, and then the reveal is that it's a little black kid. And he's a teenager. I mean, he's not a kid.
Yeah, he's Miles Morales.
But he's a teenager, and that's really all I know. And I'm like, oh, there's a new twist. Now, I don't follow Spider-Man comic books.
I do.
So I don't know that this is a character, but obviously Miles Morales is somebody who's known as being Spider-Man.
Yeah. He takes over for Peter Parker in one continuity. So this one is, he's doing his thing as Spider-Man, and then he meets Peter Parker from a different universe. So Peter Parker teaches him how to be Spider-Man. And that's kind of the story from what I'm getting at. It seems really good. The animation style is really interesting.
It's kind of, yeah, it's a little different. It's almost Japanese anime, but not.
But no, yeah.
And it's got a mixture of the Warner Brothers kind of animation in there too, but also not. I'm not sure how to describe that.
Yeah, it kind of looks like stop motion at times with like clay, but it's not that, it's computer.
Yeah.
So it looks really interesting to me as a Spider-Man fan.
It's a very interesting style. It is more of a comic book style, like it's going to be a graphic novel, and it probably is an adaptation of a graphic novel. Mm-hmm. So
possibly,
but it has that animation style to it for me.
Okay.
But it does look good. It looks a little darker than what we've seen for some of the Spider-Man in the past. Certainly different than Tobey Maguire, not just being animated, but even the darkness of the show itself is what I'm seeing from it.
Yeah.
And again, I haven't seen the newest trailer that just came out, so I'm going to have to check that one out.
Okay, I thought you did. I'm sorry. All right. So gotta be moving into our main topic now. Solo's box office has not been doing as well as Disney first expected it to be. When they first opened it, they were expecting $150 million opening weekend. Yeah. And it barely made 100. So this is kind of the first Star Wars bomb where it hasn't made what they expected. Right. Even with the prequels and everything.
Yeah, because Rogue One and even Episode 8 did much better. Yeah. They did what they expected to do.
And more.
And the thing is with this one's interesting because it was a Memorial Day weekend opening. So they actually count from Wednesday to that following Tuesday because they've got the Monday in there for the holiday. So for it not to do 150 during that time...
it's rough.
It's disappointing, yeah. I haven't seen the movie yet.
Neither have I.
And maybe everybody else is on the same page as us. They're like, well, I'm kind of holding out. Now, I've got friends who've seen it, and I've seen their posts and comments. Some of them are saying that it is kind of middle of the road for Star Wars. It's better than some of the movies, not as good as others. So out of the 10 now movies we have, which would be Episode 1 through 8, plus Rogue One, plus Solo.
Yeah.
That gives us 10. It's placing around number 5.
Okay.
So it's better than the first 3 in the episodes. And then I've got friends who put it above Chapter 8.
But I've also heard people say that it's really good and just like a fun movie to watch.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard it's a good standalone movie if you kind of take the whole... I'm thinking about Han Solo out of it. It's a good action type movie and it's a good standalone outside of the Star Wars universe.
So we have not seen it, so there will be no spoilers about it. I just kind of want to talk about why movies don't do well at the box office. So some people are saying it's because of the other films that were out, because this is the first Disney Star Wars film that's come out in May or in the summer.
Yeah, they're usually releasing those late fall, early November time.
Oh, yeah? No, they're like December.
They are December. That's
every
right,
time.
Yeah.
Every time it's been...
Okay, well, my brain's mixed up today. Yeah, so they're releasing in winter when it's cold outside and you want to go watch more.
Yeah, and there's not much big blockbuster competition.
I don't know, because Harry Potters are usually released that time of year, and there will be another one of those coming out soon.
Yeah.
So yes, they've chosen a strange release date to do early summer. I mean, they planned it purposely not to be against Infinity War, but Infinity War did really well. Again, better than expected at the box office opening weekend.
Even with that super high expectation, it blew that out of the water.
Yeah. And then you've got Solo, who they're going, well, yeah, we're going to expect, again, a big box office, and it didn't.
Yeah.
Maybe we're just burned out on Star Wars.
Possibly, yeah. Some people are saying it's because Deadpool 2 came out like the week before, but I feel that's a different audience demographic.
It is, and then you've got the difference in ratings, and yes, there are people who'll see both, but
Deadpool,
I mean, with an R rating, you're going to attract
a different crowd.
Yeah, I was going to say a more mature audience, but then when you watch Deadpool, it's a definitely more immature audience. So it's a different appreciation of what's going on.
Some people have said it's just the poor marketing that they've done with it, because the first couple of trailers didn't really have much of a story shown. Some of the shots weren't that interesting, and it just kind of failed to draw people in for the first couple trailers.
Yeah, and the thing with Solo is he's had a bad rap. And I don't mean the character, I mean the film itself. They fired the first set team. It was a team of directors, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was two directors.
Yeah. Those guys got fired because it was too comedic.
And they were doing too many takes, apparently. And Lucasfilm just thought they didn't know what vision they wanted from it.
Right, so they fired them. They brought in Ron Howard. Ron Howard is a brilliant director, but his directing style is more... It tells a story, but he likes to tell true stories. I mean, he did Apollo 13, and he's done some really great things. And I know that when Ron Howard's name's attached, it usually means Oscar time. Well, I'm not expecting an Oscar to come out of Solo. So
maybe for like sound design or something.
Yeah, maybe something like that. But with Ron Howard, it's like, I know I'm going to expect good direction. But it's not a true-to-life character, so where does that story come from? Where he's not telling an actual story that happened, and he does that very, very well.
Yeah, and then he also, they had 70% of the film shot. He looked over it, didn't want any of it, and reshot the 70% they finished, plus the 30% they needed to film. He redid everything, blew the budget to double it. So then Disney's like, oh, right, we need $150 million opening to start making half of it back, because they spent $300 million on this movie in total, and it didn't.
Now, it is doing better worldwide. Its U.S. opening was not as strong. It has made over $150 million now worldwide. Yeah. And I understand the European and Japanese markets are eating it up.
Yeah, they were liking it a lot more.
So Disney will make its money back. But
it will, but it was just a...
I'm going to say there's going to be no Solo sequel.
Really?
That's my venture. And again, the lead actor playing Han Solo is an unseasoned actor. He's pretty much a fresh off the boat kind of guy.
A little bit, yeah. He's done some things.
They had to get him his own acting coach, which is a good thing. I mean, if you're going to bring somebody in, you want him to know what they're doing.
That's a rumor. Disney hasn't confirmed that, but I don't know why they'd want to confirm that.
Well, no. You're going to say, well, we've got this guy who looks like Harrison Ford, and that's why they cast him.
Well, no, he doesn't. That's the big thing. People are like, there's this other guy that looks like him, but he's just an impersonator. Like, he doesn't really act. He's just a guy that kind of looks like him and does impersonations.
But then you could train him as an actor. I mean, it's going to take more work. And maybe they don't have the budget. They certainly ran out of time.
They did. Because they still wanted to keep the same release date, even with him reshooting 70% of the film.
Yeah. Now, what I do like is I was going to say Danny Glover, but it's not Danny.
No, it's Donald.
Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian. And the final trailer that they released made the movie look the best it did. If they had released that trailer first,
then a lot of people would have been on board.
It would have been a much better opening for them.
Yeah, because the first one they showed was the Super Bowl trailer, and that's
a 30-second tease.
Yeah, and it was just him standing in line to get into the the academy or whatever.
Yeah, because he wants to be a pilot.
Yeah, and it was like, this is... It was not interesting. I can't tell what's happening.
Yeah, you're like, Solo's never going to join the Empire. I don't care if they can teach him how to fly.
Yeah.
And then the second trailer they released, we saw Woody Harrelson saying, I'm putting together a team of people. And once you're in this group, you're in it forever. Great. So we know he's a scoundrel. We know he's a scavenger.
But we already knew that beforehand.
We did know that beforehand, so we didn't learn anything new.
But then that last trailer, it starts showing off these character dynamics. It's like, hey, here's Han and Chewie being bros. Here's Han and Lando kind of clashing a little bit and having their back and forth.
Yeah, and we know from episode, where am I, 6?
5? 5 or 6?
Well, it's 6. It's Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
No, it's 5. It's 5. Yeah, they're on Cloud City.
Yeah, they first meet in 5.
Right, and Lando is saying, hey, what have you done to my ship? So we know that he won the ship in a poker game, so we want to, or some kind of gambling tournament.
Sub back.
Yeah. So they reference that. That appears to show up in the trailer. I'm not sure if it will.
I think it's in the movie.
I'm sure it does, because again, Lando's like, what have you done to my ship? And you get to see him walking around this brand new, clean inside. I'm like, yeah, I can't imagine that ship ever being that clean. But I can see Lando being that obsessive compulsive about cleaning it. I was going to say anal retentive. I guess that's the same thing. But Lando's character, I mean, again, Donald Glover fits it really well.
Yeah.
For taking over the role.
From just the few seconds that he shows up in the trailer, he's just oozing charisma.
He is. Yeah, and Billy D. Williams, he comes across as fitting right into that character that Billy D. Williams brought to life. So I am going to see it eventually.
Yeah.
And I was never really excited to see it, but it's on the yes, I will go see it list. It's not on the forget it. Yeah, it's just interesting to see what people have said about it.
Yeah. See, and that leads into my next point. There hasn't been much word of mouth about it.
There really hasn't. It's been more like, well, I saw it and it was okay, or I saw it and it was good, and that's all I'm getting. I'm not really.
Yeah, there's no one like really talking about it, and the only time I've been able to get my friends to talk about it is if I specifically bring it up and was like, "Have you seen Solo?" And they'll either be like, "No," which is like 90% of them, or 10% be like, "Yeah." Okay, tell me about it, please. I want to know what's happening.
Yeah, and they don't give you anything.
Yeah, and I'll be like, "Oh, it's fine." It's like. Great.
Obviously, there's no spoilers to give away because they would give them away. So there's no big secrets, no big reveals that we can tell going on in this. Mm-hmm. And it's, I've heard it described as a mediocre addition to the
I've heard it's a good action film, okay Star Wars film.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard.
It's
it's mediocre for being Star Wars.
Again, this is just two guys talking about it who haven't seen it.
And we haven't seen it. But I was very excited for Rogue One, and I thought Rogue One was excellent and a great lead into Episode 4.
Uh-huh. Especially that third act, which is the battle on the beach.
Yeah, that was brilliant.
That was perfect.
And so with Solo, I think a lot of people have had high expectations, but for some reason the trailers releasing just didn't inspire anybody to go see it.
And then the big point some people are saying is they've chalked it up to Star Wars fatigue, where it's like, we've been getting these movies every year now. It was just 6 months since Last Jedi came out. Are they coming out with these films too quickly?
Perhaps. I mean, I know when Lucas did it, and it was really rough for me because I was a kid and saw Star Wars in theaters when I was 10. Yeah. When it was first released. And I had to wait 30 years before I could get Episode 1. And what a letdown that was. But there's so much anticipation and build-up, saying, oh, okay, we're finally getting another Star Wars movie.
But it was like 3 years between them as well.
Right. So you had some time, and you're like, okay, it's going to get better. It's going to get better. And it did. Uh-huh. It wasn't great, but it got better. And then they did Rogue One, and then they did Episode 7, then Rogue One, then Episode 8. Now, as you say, I think they're coming out a little too quickly. Mm-hmm. And maybe, I don't know that they're rushing it. I mean, obviously the technology's caught up. Yeah. So they can nail these things down and get the scripts and get them out. Yeah. But perhaps we are being saturated with Star Wars right now. Mm-hmm.
It's not the same as the superhero market.
Right, and the superhero market, it's usually one a year.
They use like 2 or 3 now. Disney has for Marvel films.
I forgot that. Yeah, Ant-Man and the Wasp is coming out this summer as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll follow up to Infinity War. But it's a different set of characters.
Each time it's like a different world almost that you're visiting. Yeah. But with Star Wars, it's that same universe, and the spin-offs are helping, but I think they need to take a break, especially with all the things they have announced. They have Episode 9 coming out next year. Then they have a film trilogy set up for the guy that directed Episode 8. Then they have another film series, and they have 2 TV shows.
Wow, that's a lot going on.
And all that's coming out fairly quickly, from what I understand. Like, one of the TV shows comes out in fall, and then the other one is later.
Yeah, I'd say I hadn't even heard about the TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, again, with Solo, we kind of know all we need to know about him. I mean, he was coming up on 30 when Harrison Ford played Han Solo in the first film, A New Hope. And so we don't need much backstory on Solo. That's the thing. It's like, well, I don't care what he was like as a teenager to his mid-20s. He's going to be like everybody else who's rebelling against their parents or whatever establishment they don't like.
Yeah.
And saying, it's time for me to make a mark and be who I'm supposed to be. He was already that person when we were introduced to him in A New Hope. So the fact that they went back and made a Solo movie, I'm not too worried about when he met Chewie or why or how that came about. I know he's got a gambling buddy. He's got buddies all across the universe, as far as I can tell. It's like some you
buddies in a loose term.
Right. It's like some you watch out for. You don't trust any one of them.
Yeah.
It's like, I might be able to trust you in a fight, but as soon as the fight's over, I'm out. I'm out because you're going to rob me blind. You know, he's got that kind of personality, and Princess Leia refers to him as a scoundrel. He is. So why they needed to make this movie, I don't know.
Would you like a spin-off from like a different character or different timeline?
Possibly, yeah.
Because some people are like, it would be cool if they did a spin-off series of the Old Republic, like go back like 1,000 years before Episode 1 and just show this like ancient Jedi war.
I would have liked that. That would have been really good because Yoda is 900 years old when he disappears into the Force. I was going to say dies, but he kind of fades into it.
Yeah.
So he could be alive at that point and be the Padawan learner himself, or just gaining his Jedi powers. And then you'd see a lot more different aliens, and sometimes they do overdo the aliens and the robots. But it would be cool to see something like that with how these people came into power in the first place, what set them up to be the guardians of the star system.
Yeah.
I can't say Guardians of the Galaxy, it was a different franchise. But they're the ones that the Senate has set up to say, you're protecting the galaxy. So how did that happen? Who set these knights up and said, you guys are in charge?
Yeah.
You're going to be the peacekeepers. That would be cool to have something go that far back.
Yeah. But right now it seems like Disney's kind of keeping it safe with their movies. Keeping it in that between Episode 3 and 4 era.
Well, the other thing is that they are planning and now building, they've broken ground on Star Wars in Disneyland.
Yeah.
So there is the Star Wars land that's happening. I don't remember when that's due to open. I think it's another year from now.
Yeah, I think
2019. But that is going to be a huge thing. So they want people familiar with what's going on. So they are going to have ships on the ground, X-Wings on the ground. I don't know if you get to crawl through them. I hope you do.
Oh.
But then there'll be a star base of some kind.
Yeah.
With whatever you've seen from the movies and say, okay, this is where Darth Vader lives. This is where Luke lives,
Yeah.
These kind of environments. And I'm really excited for that. And maybe they're saying these movies need to follow that kind of theme to set us up for opening up Star Wars land.
Okay, I can see that. So yeah, that's just a couple ideas on why Solo might not have done so well.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, perspective from someone who hasn't seen it. Just a different viewpoint,
Another point of view, yeah.
And a certain point of view.
So, yeah, we will see it. It's been out. How long's it been out now? 3 weeks? A month?
2.
2 weeks. Wow, it feels longer.
It does.
Which tells you something again. It's like, yes, it's picking up in the box office. But the next big thing, well, Deadpool just came out. So people are going to see that. So now that Solo, I can get in and actually get a seat, which seemed like I could do all along. Maybe I'll go see it this week because I can know that I can find a seat.
But yeah, some people are talking about that like opening night. It's like I'm here with 6 other people on the Saturday night after it came out.
That's harsh.
Yeah.
And again, it was Memorial Day weekend. But, yeah, you can only do so many barbecues. And then it's like, yeah, I'm going to go in the afternoon or even to a late movie and watch it. So that's surprising that the numbers were that low at the box office.
Yeah. All right. To wrap this up, we're going to be talking about our usual upcoming movies of this month. We have some good ones. We have some exciting things coming up.
So here we are. We're in June.
We're in June. First one came out a couple days ago. Ocean's 8, the female cast version of Ocean's 11, but kind of.
Yeah, and Sandra Bullock plays Danny Ocean's sister, and Danny Ocean, of course, was the George Clooney character.
Yeah.
From the top 3 movies of the Oceans 11, 12, and 13. And it's an interesting take. It takes place in New York City. I know that's the setting in the background.
Yeah.
And they're invading some gala to steal
a necklace.
Jewelry. Yeah.
This $1 million necklace or something.
Now, I'm always up for a good heist movie.
Yeah.
I like heist movies and anything where you can do deception and sneaking around and then you get away with the big prize. That's a lot of fun for me. There are some done really well. There are some not done well. This seems like it has a big enough budget that they could have done it right. I haven't seen it, so I don't know.
I don't know. I've heard good to okay things about it.
Well, it's got a good cast.
Yeah, and that's what people are saying is the best part about it, is just the cast is really strong, and they bounce off each other well. And yeah, that's the big thing people are talking about.
Yeah, I don't know about the plot. I know a little about the plot that I have just said, but how that's going to come across to audiences, I don't know.
Yeah.
My first reaction when I heard they were making this was, oh, okay, that's different. I guess we're doing a thief movie with all women. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
It just seems like it's, this is the trend, and so we need to do it too.
Okay.
To follow that Ocean's franchise. Granted, it's been 10, 15, at least 15 years since the last Ocean's movie came out.
First one was 2001?
Yeah.
So...
a good 12 years.
Yeah,
maybe.
at least,
10 to 12 years.
I'm like trying to count them all.
Yeah, so we've had a nice big gap in between, and that's nothing wrong with that. And I say, the casting looks really good.
The big thing for me...
leads there.
The big thing for me for this film to be good is that it kind of has to be like the originals in that each character has a personality and kind of their trait and something they bring to the table.
Right, yeah.
They can't all just be like interchangeable, just like, oh, we're just a couple buds.
Yeah.
That person's an electrician, and that person's our getaway driver, and that's it. That's all we need. Let's go.
Right, yeah. I mean, that was the beauty of Ocean's 11. They needed 11 people to pull it off.
And each one had their own skill.
Yeah, they had an explosive expert. They had the IT guy. They had somebody who was a pickpocket. And then you've got your general, just we're con men, but they would all run different cons.
Yeah.
So I agree with that. And I like the setup, too. I hope they do the setup
Yeah.
where if they are talking about what you're talking about, having the different character development, that they show them in their element.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, okay, here's Sandra Bullock. She's planning the heist. So she's either getting out of jail, which would be along the lines of what they've done with the other Ocean's films. She's just getting out. And we get a little bit of backstory of why she was in jail in the first place. She pulled a heist. She got caught, but they couldn't pin it on her. She got some speeding ticket or something, and they threw her in jail. Who knows? Who knows what that'll be?
Went from speeding ticket to robbing jewelry.
Yeah. She got away with the jewels. She got a speeding ticket. They caught her. They checked the car. They found the jewels. She got thrown. Something like that.
Oh, okay.
Because the thing with Oceans is he's so clever. It's about the alibi and getting away.
Yeah.
And so it's I need to be getting away. They happen to get me on a technicality. I'm doing 6 months to a year in jail, but they don't know that I should be in for 5 to 25.
Yeah.
Something like that. So it'll be interesting to see. I'm looking forward to it. I actually think that's going to be a good one to see Ocean's 8 when that comes out.
Yeah. Next one is Incredibles 2, mid-June, so I think next week.
Next week already.
Yeah.
Love the first Incredibles movie.
The first Incredibles is great. It's been 14 years since then.
Wow, that long.
Yeah.
Okay. Brad Bird wrote and directed that. And Brad Bird, we know from doing the last Mission Impossible. In fact, the last two.
No, he did 4, but not 5.
He did 4. Okay, he did Mission Impossible 4, but not 5.
Yeah.
And he is a great storyteller. You know, what I liked about The Incredibles is it could have been a live-action movie. It didn't have to be animated. And it would have had the same kind of attraction to it. The fact that they made it animated, I thought it was really well done, really well written, really well performed. I mean, again, I like those stealthy kind of movies. I like the superhero movies. I like the heist movies. And that was all included.
Yeah, it had a lot of
Incredibles.
elements into it.
And even the villain. The villain was a brilliant villain. And you're like, well, maybe you should have been nicer to the kid.
So, for Incredibles 2, I don't really know if they needed a sequel for it. Some people are like, oh, it's too late now for it. But then at the same time, there's a mass crowd of people going like,
right,
this is great. This is
the
gonna be
kids
good.
who saw The Incredibles have now grown up, and some of them have kids of their own.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were a teenager during that time, you've got kids of your own, and you remember that and say, I'm going to go back and I'm going to take my kids now. And it'll be a fun romp. And then there's kids, they say 14 years. That's a whole generation that has no idea. Yeah, they can go back and they can rent it on DVD or whatever. But they have no real exposure to this. So you're rebranding, basically,
the
franchise. I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it.
I like that they've got the baby, and because we saw the baby has powers at the end of the last one, and then they had the short that they released with the DVD.
Yeah.
The Jack Attack. So
yeah,
I'm hoping they do quite a bit with the baby, but it's going to be interesting because obviously none of these people have aged. So we'll see where it picks up.
Yeah, I think it picks up just a few months later.
Like right after where the last one ended.
Yeah, and that's the big thing I need for this movie to be good to me. I just need to know what the Underminer's plan is. Who the cuss is this guy? And if it turns out he's just like, oh, I just wanted to rob a bank. No, you don't pull up a giant drill to rob. No, I need something cool. I need...
Well, and if the way they came out at the end of that, he's like, I'm the Underminer, and
Yeah.
I'm going to take over, and
It's
we've
just
been watching you from
over
below
the
ground.
top John Ratzenberger performance that's just awesome.
Yeah.
And I just need to know. I just need to know.
They're going to turn around, they're going to fight him, and hopefully he'll take up the first act, it'll be the first...
Or just the first 10 minutes. That's all I need. I just need something from this guy.
Right. I don't want it to be over before it begins.
Yeah, and I just need to know that it's something worthwhile.
But there is a hint in one of the trailers, because they've now got 3 out.
Yeah.
There is a hint that they are going to show something with the Underminer. But how long that's going to last, who knows?
I don't know. I just need his plan to be something than just like, oh, I'm going to rob this bank. No. Just...
Right, he wanted to take over the whole world.
Yeah,
So,
I want to see some of that. I just want to see giant drills through the streets of the town, just blowing up buildings, and everyone being like, oh man, it's the giant Omni droid all over again, but this time with giant drills.
And maybe it will, because we know that, and I can't remember the lead character's name, Mr. Incredible, of course.
Yeah.
But his non-superhero persona, I can't remember his
Bob.
name. Bob.
Yeah, just...
That was easy. I should have just asked you. He obviously becomes a stay-at-home parent.
Yeah.
And then they focus on Mrs. Elastic,
Mrs. Incredible or Elastigirl.
Yeah, Elastigirl. That's her name. So maybe if they do it right, Mr. Incredible will fight the Underminer, get exhausted, and say, "Okay, that's it," and then she takes over. Who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know what the transition's going to be for the family, or how involved the family is. Because that was a nice thing on the first movie.
It was about family.
It was about family, and I hope they continue with that theme. Because a lot of the things, even that Disney produces, you've got single parents. And yeah, we live in a world where that's common, but it's nice to see that there are a few families out there still working together and not arguing all the time or whatever. It's like families actually can get along. Yeah, and Incredibles showed that.
Yeah. And then the last one, end of the month, Jurassic World 2, Fallen Kingdom, looks really good.
Really excited for that one. I loved the first Jurassic World. And again, a nice big gap in between, but they did such a good job of paying homage to it.
It was just a nice little reboot of the series. Yeah. It wasn't like anything like spectacular like story-wise. It was just another fun dinosaurs on the rampage, and that's all it needed to be.
It did, yeah.
And it did everything well for me.
I like that they were on the same island. I like that they went back to the original command post.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's overrun. It's now part of the jungle, and we've got a new command post. But you get to see the inside and go, oh yeah, I remember
the
that.
banner, and it was cool.
Yeah, that was very cool. And Chris Pratt, of course, up and coming and doing great in his career. They weren't sure when they made the first one of those because he'd already filmed.
He did
Guardians.
he just did a couple things.
Yeah, he was coming off of Parks and Rec.
Yeah,
but he's definitely proven himself as an action superhero.
And he still has those comedy elements in there.
And we love that about Chris. So I'm excited to see him. The cast is coming back. Always good to see Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, I know, right? I think he only has a small role in this.
Probably.
But it's Jeff Goldblum, and it's amazing. And
Yeah. So we're excited for this one. I'm not sure what they're going to do with the dinosaurs once they get them off the island, because the premise is the island is volcanic now.
Or it's going to erupt.
It's going to erupt and it's going to kill all the dinosaurs. So they have to go back in and save the dinosaurs.
Yeah, get the dinosaurs, get the resource.
Transferring them to somewhere.
Yeah.
Where are you going to transplant these things? You're going to have a mess again. No matter what you do, you're going to have a mess. So you've got to put them on another island, but it should be a fun film.
I'm excited for it.
I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to that. That one, I know I'm looking forward to. When Solo came out, I was like, I'm not looking forward to it. It's there. It's just there. But this one, definitely looking forward to it. In fact, everything this month should be really good.
Yeah, I also heard that Jurassic World 2 has more of a horror movie vibe with it, so it's a little like intense that way, where it's like, hey, there's a monster out there, and it's coming for you.
Which is the way the first movie was. The very first Jurassic Park was very intense, and the first time I saw that, it was like, oh my goodness, this thing's going to kill everybody.
Yeah, with the raptors.
Yeah, so it'll be fun to see all that come back together, and have that cast back in play.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the movies for this month.
That's the movies for this month.
A lot of stuff this month.
Yeah. And that's also the podcast for this month. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hope you had fun. We had fun. I had fun. Did you?
I had fun.
We had fun.
Comment below on what movies you want to see coming out, or if you want reviews from us on anything that has come out that you want to hear about and want to discuss, because we'd be glad to do that.
I'm working on analysis of the first Incredibles movie before Incredibles 2 comes out. Just talking about why that film is awesome. A little bit like what you were talking about.
Cool. I'm going to have to go see Deadpool 2. And hope that holds up to the first one. It should.
It should, but,
because they've got a bigger budget this time. So we'll see what happens with that.
There you go.
Good reviews so far.
Lives up to the hype. Plus.
All right. Thanks for tuning in.
This has been Freezecast with Jared.
And Paul.
And we hope to see you next time.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye. Whatever that was.
I don't know what that was.